Asteria nods. We may be three.
Achilles says, "Hark Socrates, Dionysus. Give thanks, man, to Leonidas and the brave 300, to victory."
Asteria says, Herida, salutes.
Mineya says, Here.
Priestess says, Here Condi. Pirate says, Here Mineya.
Mineya says, Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco.
Asteria says, Here Ephor.
Socrates says, Here Mineya.
Mineya says, Here Ambassador and Socrates. I am not late.
Asteria says, also tonight the queen was dragged elsewhere by matters of state, it seems. So it will be up to me again to lead this meeting. Let's start it then, shall we?
Mineya hopes she is fine. Nods.
Asteria says, let's go. Apella says, Adine Odgar is at the gate. Socrates Dionysus is at the gate. Asteria says, warm greetings and welcome command and citizens of Sparta. You may all be seated, she says while standing in the center of the hall, and embracing with her gaze the crowd gathered there. Asteria takes her place in front of the throne and begins to deliver her speech. Citizens of Sparta, sons of Lacedaemon. She begins her speech by calling the attention of those present. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?" Asteria says, "Today we gather in Apella to deliberate on matters that will shape the destiny of our polis. But before we raise our voices in council, let us contemplate a truth revealed through the trial of divine Odysseus." The poets sing of how Circe warned the son of Laertes of the sirens creatures who spellbind all men with their divine song. Around them lay heaps of bones, the remains of sailors who could not resist their call. Yet Odysseus, wisest of mortals, desired to hear their voices and return alive. What did he do? He could have trusted in his legendary cleverness or sailed far from danger. Instead, he chose a path that required acknowledging his own limitations. He ordered his men to seal their ears with wax and bind him tightly to the mast, commanding them to ignore his pleas when the siren's song overcame his will. When the moment came, though he strained against his bonds and begged to be freed, his companions held firm to his earlier wisdom. What lesson does this hold for us, sons of Sparta? True wisdom lies not in overestimating our strength, but in recognizing our mortal limitations. Odysseus knew that even the craftiest mind could be deceived. His greatness lay in binding himself to the right course before temptation could cloud his judgment. When we deliberate today, let us remember that we too are mortal men, subject to passion and the allure of easy choices. Let us bind ourselves to justice as Odysseus bound himself to the mast, that we may navigate safely past the sirens of self-interest and reach our true destination, the welfare of beloved Sparta. She concludes with conviction. With these words I declare the session open. May the gods grant us wisdom to make effective choices. Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro.
Mineya says, Aro. Aro.
Asteria says, Sparta blessed by the gods to protect us forever. Haro.
Socrates says, Haru. Haru.
Asteria turns her back to the crowd, taking a seat to proceed with her next task. Asteria looks at the harp placed on the center of the hall and says, "Who is able to draw sweet notes from this instrument?"
Mineya smiles. Me says that if no one offers, she is happy to do it.
Asteria says, "Yes, please, Ephor." Asteria looks satisfied as the Ephor strolls toward the instrument, trusting her to play an entertaining melody for all those gathered.
Mineya will play a pleasant melody.
Asteria says, "The music wafting melodiously through the air relaxes her spirit and reinforces the concentration of her thoughts, as she is intent on observing her scrolls and preparing for the next phase of the meeting."
Mineya lets her fingertips glide over the strings, letting the music flow by itself. Mineya wonders if she should play again, smiles.
Asteria claps hands. That was very delightful, Ephor. I would enjoy to see those hands dance again upon the strings. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya enjoys this instrument too, she can play it all day.
Asteria smiles as she notices the pleasure in Ephor's eyes while playing. Apella see. That was a really beautiful melody, Ephor Mineya. You delighted us truly. Now please take back your seat, as we have important matters to discuss.
Mineya smiles and thanks the applauses. Mineya stops playing and returns to her seat.
Asteria looks absent-mindedly around, wondering what her next task will be. Then suddenly her gaze displays knowledge of procedures. We will need a knowing hand to trace every word that will be spoken tonight. Who feels up to it? She says, examining faces one by one.
Mineya looks around and sees no hands raised. She offers herself again.
Asteria says, very well, thank you.
Mineya nods.
Asteria says, I summon Hieros Socrates and Lammy, supplicants of gods, to pour wine and utter prayers.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Kronos. Everlasting Father of blessed gods and men, resourceful, pure, mighty and powerful Titan, you consume all things and replenish them too. Unbreakable is the hold you have on the boundless cosmos, O Kronos, begetter of time, Kronos of contrasting discourse, child of earth and starry sky. In you there is birth and decline, august and prudent lord of Rhea, who, as progenitor, dwell in every part of the world. Hear my supplicant voice, O wily and brave one, and bring an ever blameless end to a good life.
Priestess says, are you discussing something?
Socrates says, I now call on Priestess Lamy to say opening Apella prayers.
Priestess shouts, Hestia, you who tend the holy house of the Lord Apollo, the far shooter at goodly Pytho, with soft oil dripping ever from your locks, come now into this house, come, having one mind with Zeus the all-wise, draw near, and withal bestow grace upon my song. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. Hail almighty Zeus the Thunderer, hail all the gods of Olympus. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all in attendance of these prayers. Asteria makes slight nods of assent upon hearing the sacred invocations.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. Socrates salutes.
Asteria says, Herida, salutes. Grace unto you priests, we are grateful for your prayers. Priestess says, are you worshipping? Asteria pauses briefly and narrows her eyes, as if to find concentration for her next task. Asteria stands and addresses the gathered crowd. Once more I will undertake the task to inform you of what is happening to our population, and in our relations with other kingdoms. Asteria says, as far as our city is concerned, the Queen's rule is solid, new sons have been begotten for the needs of our army, but no foreigners have joined our ranks in the past week. As far as the other countries are concerned, I have some news that involve as well mystic visions that, I may assure you, seem to represent a god omen for us. Good asterisk. Asteria pauses for a moment, as if she is about to decide how much she is allowed to reveal to the assembly. What I can tell you for this night, my brothers and sisters, is that God spoke to me as I expected. Though not the message I was waiting but another, she says, glancing at Ephor Mineya.
Mineya listens carefully. Mineya nods and wonders if that what she said will do some good.
Asteria says, "It is an important matter that I prefer to reveal when the queen will be here. As you certainly know, she is the one that is the most interested in hearing what gods have whispered in our ears and what paths they have weaved for us." So I ask you to be patient, but I can tell is something that will probably lead me away from Sparta for an important mission. Turns walking towards her throne, convinced that she has said the right thing, neither too much nor too little.
Mineya says, "Mission always involves risk." She wishes her a successful return.
Asteria says, I should now summon Counselor Aelangel to inform us of the training going on in the city, but I am sure another valiant daughter of Sparta will be able to tell us about it. So I would like a council member to step up and inform us about all the events held recently, including our army trainings.
Mineya stands up and steps forward to present her reports. Eurede. Asterisco asterisco selux asterisco asterisco.
Asteria says, Herida, salutes.
Mineya takes her scroll, grabs it with both hands and she unrolls it. Mineya starts reading about the events that took place last week.
Asteria nods and waits eagerly.
Mineya says, so this past Thursday 19th Sparta once again enjoyed belly dancing and she reported the following on the day. Report released by Ephor Mineya on subject belly dance in orange. During more than 2 hours Spartan and visitors enjoyed Ephor Mineya's rhythmic beats. This time we dress up in orange, a refreshing color for this summer heat.
Asteria says, Apella si.
Mineya pauses briefly and continues reading.
Asteria says, it was a colorful and joyful feast indeed.
Mineya nods. Mineya reads that Sparta once again enjoyed the bards gathering like every Sunday and she will read what our ambassador reported about it. Once again poets shared both original works and classical verses beneath the ancient columns, as summer light danced through marble halls. The timeless beauty of Sparta provided the perfect backdrop for our literary evening, where words flowed like warm summer wine among the classical statues.
Asteria smiles.
Mineya says, special thanks to Saber for conducting this enchanting event and to Queen Inezca for organizing our poetic community. Ambassador Asteria. On behalf of Queen Inezca.
Asteria says, Apella si.
Mineya mentions that this same day, the training took place under the guidance of Counselor El Angel, who is not here at the moment. Mineya can read it herself on behalf of the counselor.
Priestess says, Are you discussing something? Asteria says, Please do, Ephor.
Mineya says, her words were, we had some time of PvP training and improving our individual skills on several spars 1v1. Thanks to Ambassador Asteria to participate on this training to improve our skills to protect our Spartan Empire.
Asteria says, Apella si.
Mineya says, and finally, as she always does, she is going to read a reminder about the events taking place during this week. On Wednesday, belly dance at the Agora with Hieros Socrates, who will make you have a nice time with his amazing Greek songs.
Asteria says, Apella si.
Mineya says, on Sunday, once again the Bards Gathering will take place and will be hosted by Ijoli and Saber. Later Counselor El Angel will share her skills with the sword to train in the arts of combat the brave Spartans.
Asteria says, Apella si.
Mineya encourages everyone to attend these events and bring your friends and family who are sure to love it. Mineya smiles. Mineya has nothing more to add and closes her scroll.
Asteria says, Something I really need. Too much time spent among scrolls will weaken my arms. Thank you for your report. You are dismissed. Please sit.
Mineya has her arms sleeping too long time. The sword was too heavy this time. Eurede. Asterisco asterisco selux asterisco asterisco.
Asteria says, Herida. Salutes.
Mineya retires to her seat.
Asteria taps her fingers on the armchair. If any bear concern or anguish, this is the moment to speak, she says, addressing the audience. Priestess says, "Are you discussing something?"
Mineya has no questions to ask and no comments to make.
Asteria, her gaze rests on the faces of those present, looking for someone with something to say. Maybe there will be someone in the next Apella who has concerns to share, and we will gladly listen to them. And now, I ask Hieros Socrates to bestow us with Apella closing prayers.
Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. To Earth. Divine Earth, Mother of men and of the blessed gods, you nourish all, you give all, you bring all to fruition and you destroy all. When the season is fair you are heavy with fruit and growing blossoms, and, O multiformed maiden, you are the seat of the immortal cosmos, and in the pains of labor you bring forth fruits of all kinds. Eternal, reverend, deep-bosomed, and blessed, you delight in the sweet breath of grass, O goddess bedecked with flowers. Yours is the joy of the rain, and round you the intricate realm stars revolves in endless and awesome flow. But, O blessed goddess, may you multiply the gladsome fruits, and together with the beautiful seasons, grant me favor. Socrates pours libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods. I now call on Priestess Lamy to say closing Apella prayers.
Priestess shouts, I will sing of Zeus, chiefest among the gods and greatest, all-seeing, the Lord of all, the fulfiller who whispers words of wisdom to Themis as she sits leaning towards him. Be gracious, all-seeing son of Kronos, most excellent and great. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May Zeus and the gods bless this city, its king, its princess regent, its royals, and all of its citizens. We offer you a libation of sweet honeyed wine. May the gods bless all who attended these prayers.
Socrates pours final libations of honey-sweet wine from his chalice for the gods.
Priestess says, Are you worshipping?
Socrates salutes.
Asteria says, Herida, salutes. Thank you, Hieros and Lammy. We trust that the gods will look favorably on us after these prayers. You may take back your seat. Asteria stands up to end the meeting with the ritual ceremony. I think it is fitting to close this meeting with wise words from a great philosopher, Plato. In a firm and solemn voice she utters them a moment later. Well begun is half done. Before we depart from this sacred assembly, let me thank each of you for joining and contribute to our great community. I hope that the words of wisdom I uttered before can inspire your actions. With them I declare tonight's meeting over. All rise and return to your homes, and may the gods guide and protect your steps. Herida salutes.
Socrates salutes.
Mineya says, Eurede. Asterisco asterisco salutes asterisco asterisco.
Asteria says, may gods guide you safely at home, Spartiates. Apella says, Aideen Odgar is at the gate. Priestess says, Harry Aideen. Asteria says, have a good night, each of you. Herida salutes.
Mineya wishes good night too.
Socrates says, good night both.